as Africans, we can sort of relegate ourselves because of where we are coming from. It takes a lot of self-awareness to know that you are actually on par with anybody anywhere in the world. You are not limited by your background. You are not limited by light issues. You are not limited by other issues that we see on a daily basis. But we have the opportunity. We have, with proper guidance, mentorship from people who have been there, we can basically, you can basically become an international sensation. Yeah. So that's not why we are here. We are here to hear from Elvis. So how are you doing today, Mr. Elvis?
Uh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
I've just read your profile, and you're 24 years old. First of all, I've done some introductions, and the audience knows a little bit of who you are. Would you like to go over that just briefly so we can hear from you directly? Thank you.
Okay. I'll do. I'll try to do like a very quick recap. So, I was born in Port Harcourt, Rumudara to be precise, and I was there for a while. I worked also in Port Harcourt. I also worked at Uche, and then I moved to Lagos and worked for a few companies there. And then I traveled to Nairobi for a bit, worked for an NGO there. And then I moved to Dubai where I worked for Karim, which got acquired by Uber. And then I moved to the US to work on a startup with a friend. And then I moved to Berlin, which I am currently in. And I work as a staff software engineer here. And yeah, that is like the last, I guess, 6, 7 years in summary. Yeah.
Thank you. So you brushed past all of this,
Yeah.
and it can seem to be easy. So can you share with us how did you move from being a Rumudara boy? What was the process like? What was the breaking point from? How did you get to this point?
Yeah. So that was quite difficult. I always had a fascination with computers, like when I was young, and we couldn't afford to have like a computer back then, but I had like a mobile phone, and I had to like figure out how to program using the mobile phone for a very long time, say like 2 years or so, while I was like learning how to program. And I did eventually was able to afford like a computer, but the journey didn't end there. Obviously, like I still had to like build like a portfolio or like get myself into a position where I'm uh, like apply to jobs and figure out like what is the things I am very good at. And it was a very long process of like figuring out opportunities to try to get. Some I wasn't able to get, some I got, and just working my way through the whole process. And yeah, it was lots of yeah, just putting myself out there and like trying to like make the most of the opportunity I have. Yeah. But yeah, the most difficult part was yes when I had to like use the phone to like program because we couldn't afford to like get a computer because that was like quite intense, like being able to build things on a mobile device. But yeah, and even now I wouldn't. I would say like things are relatively easier, but there's still like you have like ambitions of things you do, and there's still like you have to like put in the work to get to where you want to go, and it's still like a similar thing here where I want to like get to the next level or like achieve a certain goal, like be able to do something good in the world, and that requires like yeah some not some a lot of effort to like get things done. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much a summary of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned using feature phones, and I know a lot of us here can relate to the aspect of not having devices when you want to go into tech. So, future, how did you code on a mobile phone, Chidera? How were you able to manage that? And at what point did you get access to a laptop to further your coding?
So yeah, the phone I used was like the I don't know, it's like this older devices where you have to like type the same button like multiple times, like it's like a certain character input. And it was a lot, but it was what I had, and they were not. I didn't have like other options at that moment, so it's not like if I had like better alternatives, I would have gone with that. But that was what I had, and I had to like make do with what I had. Yeah, and then I used that to like work on like some freelance projects and try to like save some money and worked on a few things here and there. And then I was able to like buy like my own laptop. But that was again, I think roughly 2 years of using the that phone to like. I was literally building websites and other mobile applications using that phone. So I did quite a lot with it before I was able to like get my hands on a computer.
Cool. I hope you still have that phone. Yeah, because
Yeah, that's a good question. I wish I do, but like I probably dished it somewhere. I don't remember. Yeah.
oh, you've risen to fame. Okay. So 2 years with a feature phone, that's really impressive. Um, so you're a senior engineer now, and you are a senior engineer at age 24. So at what age did you get into tech, and how did you rise to being a senior engineer at 24?
I think one of the things which is there's one way to look at experiences, right? Like you can look at the disadvantages, but there's also like uh, another way to look at it. It uniquely positions you to be a certain kind of person, and that for me is the problem solving or the way I approach problems. And in general, like I think one theme was just being resourceful, like thinking out of the box of like how do you go about solving a problem. Like there's a difficulty figuring out like ways to go around it, and that's like one of the things that I would say like is the skill that have helped me to like get to the position I am at. So like the company that I work for is a very large company. We're talking about tens of thousands of employees across like several countries in like 4 continents. So it's quite large. And I'm the youngest in the company in this position. So it's not like something that is a standard. So, but I think like the thing that got me promoted to this position was just like the way I approach problem solving in general, and was able to like build multiple systems that were useful across multiple domains in the company. So that was like one unique thing I'll say that stood out, and all of this just came from the whole. I'll say character building of like the whole process I had to go through, and it's just like it translated from just not just life into like technical problem solving and all that. Yeah.
Yes, technical problem solving. I can relate with that, and I don't speak for everybody, but I know that problem solving is difficult because should I blame it on our educational system in this part of the world? So, getting to the point of being a senior engineer, it's you problem solve fine, but there are other skills that is needed for you to get to that point. Like you said, character building. Could you highlight a major experience? Can you share a major experience, a challenge in the process of building character, communication skills, and other skills that requires you to get to the point of being a senior engineer? Can you share a major experience for you while going through these processes? or this topic?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the things is just I would say critical thinking in general, or being able to see things from like different perspectives. So like when you get to like a senior or staff position, one of the things that happens is you're working with multiple teams, and each person has their own motivations or things that they care about, and you have yours, they have theirs, and you just like one of the you talked about communication, which is like one of the essential skills of like being so like when you're like a developer or like a junior, it's mostly about the coding skill, but as you start going up, it becomes more about things, the soft skills like communication, how you work with other people. Yeah, just figuring out like different perspective, and being factoring that into like this whole the how you work with people, and just figuring out compromises and stuff like that. So it is like it's something that doesn't just apply to job; it applies to like almost everything, every endeavor, or like where you have to like work with people. You just need to like think beyond your own motivations, and like basically steel man, like putting yourself in that person's shoes and saying why did this person react in a certain way, or why are they requesting XYZ. And yeah, this is I would say one of I didn't go into like a example, just like a general example that just happens a lot, that you're in a position where you just need to like think beyond your space and think about how other people think.
Yeah, so before my last question, please, if you have any question for Mr. Elvis, I'm sure there are a lot of young minds here who are fascinated by the Port Harcourt, by Elvis moving from Port Harcourt to Berlin. Elvis, please prepare your questions. We'll take a little questions in a short while. The last question I have for you, Elvis, in terms of moving to, you mentioned Dubai. Was that the first place you moved to?
It was Nairobi
Oh,
in
okay,
Kenya. Yeah.
Nairobi. Can you share with us a major culture shock you had in any of these countries?
Okay, that's a good question. Um, I don't know. So maybe Nairobi not so much, but I'll say the food. Yeah, it's quite different.
Okay. Yeah. So just to summarize, what's been your experience like at Delivery Hero? How has it been? How is the workplace? And if you have just a last word for people, the audience, and hearing from you and your story, what last words do you have for us?
Um, it's yeah. I would say the most important thing is just continuous improvement. And one thing you that happens to most people is they get to a particular position and they get too comfortable, or like they stop. Like you learn to be a programmer in X technology and you're just stuck there. Like very rarely do people like push beyond certain limits, and this is kind of something that gives you an edge when you're like someone that is always not always, of course sometimes you need to relax a little bit, but in general you're just having like this uptick where you're like you're trying to be a bit better than you are, and um, we tend to underestimate what we could do in several years and overestimate what we could do in one day. So it's not like you trying to like do all you can in one day. Just like every day do this and do that consistently over time, and eventually things always checks out. Like you could try to be as intense as you can in one day, and you don't do it again. That is not as effective as like trying to like figure out what's like a bite chunk work you could do like in a particular day, and just do that repeatedly over time, and eventually like this shows. And it's not about like just repetitions or what you do. It's more about like deliberate practice. Like you want to be in a position where like you're actually improving, not just like mindlessly going through like the motions. You want to be in a position where like you're doing things and there's like improvement in what you're doing. Yeah, so that's like one general thing I think applies because it's hard to like give um, without like much context, and I think this applies to like pretty much every situation. Yeah.
Yes, yes. When you start earning the big bucks, it takes a lot to actually keep the motivation running. Mr. Elvis, where can we reach you on for the audience if they want to reach out to you to get more acquainted with your story and to hear from you, and how they can also access opportunities, probably a delivery hero or remote opportunities. People are looking for jobs. People need jobs. What are you doing currently to make sure that we have success story to go from Port Harcourt to anywhere in the world?
So uh, I'm not on lots of social networks, but you could find me on Twitter, which is x.com now, Elvis Chidera. You could always send me a mail like elvis.chidera@gmail.com. Yeah, I'll say Twitter. You could reach out to me on Twitter, Elvis Chidera. Yeah, and yeah, let me know how I could be of help to you in any way. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chidera. I believe we've all learned something from his experience, and please reach out to him if you want to know more about accessing opportunities outside, and he can have a lot of insights to share with you. So we have come to the end of this chat, and I hope it was really insightful for you. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you. Continuously improve. That's one of the points I took here, because when you get to that point, when you eventually get to be an international sensation, it's hard when you start earning the dollars and pounds. For people who are beginning, stay focused, continue improving on your skills, and there are a lot of opportunities that you could leverage on. So far as you are continuously improving, you are going to get there definitely. So please reach out to Chidera, is open. Also, you can reach out to me. At Techrity, we help people into tech by providing them access to data support, hardware like laptops and all, and mentorship. So if you need mentorship, please reach out to us at techrity.org or at Techrity.org on all social media platforms. So thank you very much. We have come to the end of this session.